Mm.
So let's talk about another problem that gets a lot of people. A lot of people think they come in and they think, I've got to get a property in a great area. I've got to just buy in the best up and coming area possible that's just going to explode. And I'm going to make so much money because I'm just going to pick exactly where the highest appreciation is going to happen. So let's look at an example here of Lawndale. And here's my Lawndale duplex. This Lawndale duplex on 156th. Here it is for real. If you can read that, sold for $95,000 right there in 1980. And it's just a simple duplex, 5,200 square foot lot. And then property number two, a similar comp sold in 2020 for 836. So this is our going in price, and then it's worth about 836 now. Again, Lawndale's kind of like a low income or middle income, good kind of bedroom community here in South Bay. Great rental market. It's not a area property whatsoever. Now, what if instead we took also this duplex in Hermosa Beach? There it is, duplex in Hermosa Beach, same card. This one sold for $260,000 in 1980 out of the box. And in 2020, something similar was worth 3.8 million bucks. So this person really picked a winner, right? Hermosa Beach was just a quiet surf town back in 1980, a little rough around the edges. And if you've been to Southern California, you know that in 2020, Hermosa Beach is where all of the professional athletes and some movie stars live. And, properties are usually $1,000 a square foot or more. So this person must have made way more money than the person buying the Lawndale duplex, right? Let's look at that. So the person buying the Hermosa property did appreciate more. This property appreciated around 7% average every year. The Lawndale property appreciated about 5.5%. And here's the 2020 sale prices and the profits. But to buy the Hermosa Beach property, you would have had to put $130,000 down to break even. To buy the Lawndale property, you would have had to put $24,000 to break even. That's because the Lawndale property was a higher cap rate, the rents were better, and so it didn't need as much down payment, and you were able to use more leverage to buy the Lawndale property than you were with the Hermosa Beach property. This buyer started deleveraged already if they had to buy with 50% down. So with the same amount of money, you could buy one duplex in Hermosa or 5.4 Lawndale duplexes. And the profit with the same investment, if we multiply these numbers out, would have been $4 million on the Lawndale 5.4 Lawndale duplexes versus $3.54 million from the Hermosa Beach property. So you're actually giving up a ton of return in exchange for investing in an area that you think might perform better than another. Doesn't make sense to do that. If you manage your leverage and you buy in the right areas where you can maximize the leverage that you're using, you're going to do a lot better. Now let's look at how this applies over 40 years, because we looked at a 1980 sale. Here is buying in Hermosa Beach and continuing to do exchanges as appropriate over time and putting 50% down every time you do an exchange, because you're staying in Hermosa Beach. If you have to put 50% down every time, you still do end up at about $25 million at the end of your investment's life cycle 40 years later. So you're 130 grand, $25 million. So great, nice job. 40 years is a long time, so you got a strong return. But look what happens if you buy with 25% down and you continue to re-leverage at 25% down in an area similar to Lawndale. You end up with over $200 million in equity in the same amount of time, buying properties that you probably wouldn't necessarily drive all your friends by and brag about, but makes way more sense when you really step back and you look at the math. So you owe it to yourself to think about all these things and take this from a long-term value perspective. That's generational wealth. This is too, to be fair. 40 years is going to help you wherever you're investing, but this is insane. Those numbers are just unbelievable.